Hello Wolfpack, we're back here on Bitcoin today, and surprise, we've actually broken out of the bear flag formation, and upon inspection, what this could have actually been, yes, it was a confirmed bear flag formation, there's no doubt about that. A bear flag formation is typically a bearish formation, hence we were expecting a break to the downside just based off objective TA, there's no opinion involved in that. What we can actually say though is that, yeah, it was a bear flag formation, but at the same time, and I covered this a couple of days ago, right? I didn't think it was likely to play out, but obviously I was wrong in that regard. At the same time as this was a bear flag formation, you could actually say, you could make the argument that this was an inverted head and shoulders pattern, and you could hence make the argument that as soon as Ethereum broke out, I suppose it was inevitable that Bitcoin was going to break out due to the structure Bitcoin was actually forming. So yes, we've broken out here. We've broken past the neckline of the inverted head and shoulders formation. If we're taking a measured move from the inverted head and shoulders formation to the neckline from the bottom of the head, we can see that a breakout above that formation would actually lead to a retest of 26k. Do I think 26k is going to happen? We'll have to see. I don't know much at this point, but what I can say, and I suppose the most interesting part about this video that you guys will find, obviously, is that we've broken above a 200-week SMA. Now, before you jump the gun, and I've made this very clear, right? I'm not just saying this now, I've been saying this for weeks, right? Ever since we lost it. Before you jump the gun, we need to be seeing a convincing weekly candle close, or even two, above the 200-week SMA in order for us to be bullish on a macro time frame on Bitcoin. If that does occur, it would stand to reason to believe that the bottom is in for Bitcoin, right? And now, well, we might think, well, what are the implications of that on the 4-year cycle theory? You know, what about the 4-year cycle, the Q4 bottom? What about all of that? Let's not talk about that right now because it hasn't happened yet, right? It hasn't happened yet. So we don't know what's going to happen yet. We've still got 4 days, in fact, almost 5 days until that weekly candle closes. And for all we know at this point, this is an unconfirmed breakout. For all we know, it could just retrace back down, right? That's all we know at this point. We've had an unconfirmed breakout, daily chart breakout above a bear flag formation. Yes, it looks bullish from a shorter term. Yes, Ethereum has been breaking out to the upside massively, but Ethereum has rejected from resistance. Ethereum has met its match at resistance, and Bitcoin still has not confirmed the breakout to the upside above 200-week SMA. It really is quite simple. It's as simple as that. I could end the video right there if I wanted to. So why has this occurred? Why have we broken out here? You know, were we expecting a breakout here? Well, I suppose expecting would be the wrong word, but it's not entirely abnormal that it happened. And why is that? Well, we can see quite clearly we're holding a macro uptrending support line. And if we're looking at the 200-week SMA historically, we have jumped, if we're looking at it as a support zone, we have dropped below it many times. So now that it's flipped around, why does that change? Why can't we go above it? You know, as long as we don't close 2 consecutive weekly candles or even one strong weekly candle close above it, still nothing's changed. So I think a lot of people here jumping the gun, right? They're jumping, oh, look, it's broken above a 200-week SMA. It's been above the 8 hours. You know, it's breaking out. Bull market time. Let's buy into Bitcoin. It's like, well, that's not really how this works. All right, we need to be waiting for confirmation. This is a macro time frame. We're looking at a cycle that lasts 4 years. You can't confirm a breakout of a cycle that lasts 4 years from 8 hours of breakout above 200-week SMA. It's just simply not how it works. You know, like it or not, a macro time frame requires macro confirmation. You know, again, I'll point out what I just said before. When the 200-week SMA was acting as support, we wicked below this thing so many times. And even though we might have closed below it a little bit, it's still mostly held for support. And we still bounced off of it. You know, that's 2015 back there. 2018 was the same question. Even in 2018, we very slightly wicked below it. And COVID, of course, we wicked below it massively. In fact, we wicked below it almost, 30% wick below it, and we closed just below it, and it wasn't enough to confirm a breakdown, and so we jumped back up. So, you know, just now that it's resistance, it doesn't mean just because we've got above it for 2 seconds, it's broken. That's not really how the 200-week SMA works. A moving average isn't necessarily a precise support zone. It more indicates a vague support or resistance region. And it is the 200-week SMA for a reason. It's literally the 200-week SMA because it's based on weekly candles, and hence you'd need weekly closes. If you were seeing a triangle formation, for example, say you had a triangle formation, and you saw the price wick above the triangle formation, that wouldn't be enough to confirm a breakout. You're waiting for candle closes to confirm a breakout. Otherwise, it's most likely to just fake out below. And so at this point, I would say that it's probably more likely, based on the macro situation, based on what's going on with Bitcoin, that Bitcoin retraces back into the 200-week SMA here. Now, if I'm wrong, we'll be able to see that quite clearly. We'll be able to see that in 5 days. Right? If in 5 days time, we close above this thing clearly, not like 2%, clearly close above this thing, above like 23, 24K, right? Maybe 24K. that's going to be confirmation that I was in fact wrong and we have broken above it. And at that point, we can start to look at the bullish scenario. But at this point, it's really no difference. You know, people get very hyped up about these small movements, and we've seen it before. We saw it at 48K, right? What happened at 48K? In fact, a very, very similar thing happened at 48K, and I want to point this out to you. And this is why I'm saying 2 weekly candle closes, or at least 1 strong weekly candle close, because look what happened at 48K, right? The 50-week SMA, this red line, is equally speaking a very, very important, not as important as for 200, but it's a very, very important resistance and support region. If you're looking at this red line here, you can see the times act as resistance and support for Bitcoin. And every time we lose this thing, we generally enter a bear market, right? So the 50-week SMA, which by the way, was my old indicator to confirm a bottom on Bitcoin. I used to say if we break above the 50-week, we would get back into a bull market. I think that's a little bit too high now, but I set it up here. And what we saw was a bear flag formation, right? And we actually did break above the 50-week SMA. We broke above it and we closed above it for 1 week. But as you can see, we immediately dropped that back down below, right? Because it wasn't actually a confirmed breakout. We were still within a bear flag structure in that scenario. And also it wasn't convincing enough. It's a vague region of resistance. And that's how people should approach for 200-week SMA in the same way. If we get a small pathetic close above it and ultimately no follow through, that's not a breakout, you know? So we're looking for a strong close and a follow through. And that's when you confirm the bottom's in. So before you start saying, oh, the bottom's in on Bitcoin, Wolf, you missed the bottom, Wolf, you missed it all. It's a stupid argument because nothing's actually happened to confirm yet, and you're setting yourself up to look like a fool, just like the people who said the bottom was in this scenario here, and then we immediately drop back down. Can the bottom be in? Yes, of course it can. It's definitely a possibility, right? No one's saying it's not a possibility. Do I think it's likely? Of course I don't, because it's not confirmed yet. That's how trading works. We're breakout traders. We're being objective, right? So at this point, and again, the reason why this pump has happened is because Ethereum's broken out. And also the reason why this pump has happened is because the DXY has been dropping massively, which led to a massive pump on the S&P 500, which are largely unpredictable events, by the way. And so with the S&P 500, speaking about the traditional markets, we're seeing another rate hike in about 8 days, which should give some more clarity of the situation. If that rate hike comes in at, say, 50 basis points instead of 75 basis points, yeah, that's probably going to be confirmation that the bottom is in, right? Because it means they're winding down the severity of the rate hikes, which means the traditional markets in general and the global economies are going to be affected a lot less. So, you know, there's lots of things coming up this month, in the month of July, including the weekly candle closes on Bitcoin for 200-week SMA and the interest rate decisions that are going to be able to give us clarity on the situation. Right now, there simply is not much clarity other than the fact that Ethereum's seen a pretty large pump for not really any real reason, and Bitcoin's broken out to the upside slightly, right? In fact, we're still getting rejected at this point from 23.8K. And all of this video, it's not to say I'm bearish. It's not to say I'm overly bearish in the market. It's to say that in order for me to be bullish, I still need to be seeing some more evidence. And that's just objectively speaking, right? There's nothing more I'd love to come here and tell you that, oh, the market's bullish and we can be bull market again. But I'm not going to do that and bait you guys into the trap because I know that'll make a lot of people happy. But in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks' time, if this all goes to trash, which, is pretty, it's got a decent chance of going to trash, then you guys aren't going to be very happy anymore. So I'd rather remain objective. I'm sticking to the fundamental laws of TA. I'm not sticking to my opinion. It's nothing opinion-based about this, right? I'm looking at the objective way to analyze charts, the way I understand it at least. So I guess you could say it is my opinion. But this is from someone who literally teaches TA to people. So there's nothing opinionated about this. This bear flag formation, there was nothing opinionated about me saying that bear flag formation is bearish. It's literally a bear flag formation. I think there's a lot of distinctions people need to make in their mind. TA is not as opinionated as people might think it is, right? It's opinionated when you don't know what you're doing. When you know what you're doing and you're able to objectively identify trends and patterns, it doesn't become an opinion, it becomes an objective analysis. And that's what I try to do to the best of my ability. Now, obviously it's not perfect, but I try my best. And so, another thing I want to say is that during this breakout here in the macro time frame, right? Well, not necessarily the macro time frame, but the shorter term time frame, we've actually made 200% profit on the V.I.P group chat. And that's the beauty of a trader, right? Because I don't need to rely on the macro trend for Bitcoin. Yes, I have my certain macro predictions, and yes, my macro predictions still remain bearish, but I don't need to rely on the macro predictions because I'm making shorter term trades based on the current price action. 200% profit in the last 5 days in the V.I.P group chat. We trade regardless of what the market conditions are, and so we don't miss out on anything. Whether we're right or wrong in the macro, it doesn't affect how much money we make directly. So that's kind of the important part. And if you want to join up and become a V.I.P member and you want in on that kind of stuff there, you can click the join button on the YouTube channel homepage and you can gain access to altcoin trade setups, prioritized reply to comments, a 2-hour lecture on market psychology, and exclusive Telegram group access where we discuss charts in a community format, right? 28 USD a month. You're not going to get much better than that. I say it every video, you're not, right? So moving forward, again, to some more partnerships here, we've got the BitGet exchange. I actually reached out to these guys for a partnership. They didn't come to me because I'm so impressed with their exchange. And I mean that with complete honesty. It's got half the fees of Binance. It's got non-KYC, which is great for tax reasons and hiding your identity to avoid government regulation, of course. Not that I'd ever do that, YouTube. But yeah, and that's about it. And then we've also got a system in place to avoid scam wicks. Now, during the December drop in 2021, you guys will remember it. It was this drop over here. I lost around $14,000 on Binance due to scam wicks, due to no fault of my own, right? I made the complete right decisions. I should have been in profit, and Binance basically scammed me out of my money because of a wick that wasn't present on other exchanges, right? And so I made the shift. I looked for a better exchange, and BitGet is the one that I found there. And so we're using BitGet now. And if you sign up using my referral link in the description below, and pin comment below, you can gain access to a reward center, which is like 4,000 USD in rewards for completing some tasks that vary in difficulty. So go ahead and do that. I would be highly appreciated, and it will be good for yourself as well. It's a win-win. And then also, the Crypto Academy Become a Trader course. If you want to learn how to trade as objectively as possible, if you want to learn how to become a trader rather than an investor, or someone just blindly invests in DCAs and Bitcoin, if you want to learn how to actually make money on a regular basis consistently, the Become a Trader course developed by myself and Megawell Crypto is for you. You can read the brief outline on the website here. You can read the 10-unit topics and what we provide and how we provide it. And then you can chuck us an email at the bottom of the page at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with a video explaining the course, showing you what it looks like, and the payment information. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay grounded. Stay real. Don't do anything stupid. Right? Don't listen to the Moonboys on Twitter and YouTube. And have a good one. See you later.